Okay, now we had a quiz the other night that was based upon the fact that you need to write a program and it accepts an integer number from the user. And then you're going to create an asterisk box using that number. For example, if the user typed in a 4, then that means you would need to have your program print 1, 2, 3, 4 asterisks on each row, and you need to do 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So a box of 4, 4 asterisks across, 4 rows up and down. Now let's take a look about just getting started on this program. We can always go back to our template. And remember, the imports are first. So I need to import the java.util.scanner because I'm going to get input from the user. Then I need to do my public class name. I'm going to say box. Then I need to do my public static void main. Now I need to declare any variables I'm going to be using. Now I can come back and create these variables. I know that I'm going to need at least 3. Let's use the one that we're going to use for user input. Okay, and I'll go ahead and start it off at 0. I'm also going to need 2 incrementers because I know I'm going to need loops. I could have put these together, but I want to keep them separate. Now, I need to create any classes I need, any class objects. I need the scanner. Okay, now I'm ready. Now let's think about this. If we want to be able to kind of back into this, because you're looking at it and you can't understand how to get this to work. Here's one way. I know I've got to print whatever the user typed in as a number, asterisks across on one row. So let's just start with that because I'm going to be working with columns. Now the trick here is get it to work once and then make it work multiple times after it works once. So let's back into this. I know that if I do a system.out.print of an asterisk, that will print 1 asterisk on a row. But now I want that to work multiple times. So let's get the information from the user. Enter int number for box. And then I have to get it. So I've hit the next part of my template after I create it. Then I get all the data that I need. Okay, now here's the number of times I want this one line to happen. Now remember, you make it happen multiple times, that's a loop. So it's a fixed count loop, so I'm going to do a 4. My I is 0. There's my initializer. As long as my I is less than my user int, and then my altering statement, I plus plus. Okay? Now, this is going to happen this many times. Now, let's go ahead and save this and just see what we're going to get out of it. Okay, so we got to save it. Remember, we have to save it the same thing as our class name. So let me go out and save it. Oops, sorry, on my C drive. And I'll just quickly put it inside a folder that I use. Now, I have to name it box.java. And now all my color coding comes in. So let's see if I was good enough to type all this in without doing a syntax error. I doubt it, but we'll see. And we're waiting. Oh, nope, I forgot a semicolon. Remember, you have to have semicolons at the end of every one. So let's try it again. Hopefully, I will get 0 errors. Yay, got it that time. Now let's run it. Because it doesn't mean I'm out of errors. I just don't have any syntax errors. Okay, so I want 3. So I should get 3 asterisks. 1, 2, 3. Good. We've got our one row. Now, we want this to happen user integer number of times. So I'm going to indent, and again, I have another for loop. So let's put our for loop here. Now notice that's why I had 2 variables, one for each for loop. So I have my for. Now I have to use J here. There's my initializer. There's my as long as J is less than user input or int. And here J++. Okay. Now this for loop prints out one row. I've got to make sure after it prints out one row that it'll go a line break to the next one. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but the easiest way is make sure you're in the outer loop, not the inner. Let's do a line break. And that's all I need. So it will print the entire row of asterisks, go to the next row, and then do it again. Let's end our for loop. And now we have the ability to print every row based upon the user int. And then we will advance to our next row based upon user int. Now remember, let's go back. I had to have 2 different variables for the loops, because by the time I get done with this ending loop or inside loop and I break out to the system.out.print and go back up to the for, I will be 1 less than what the user typed in. So if the user typed in a 4, I can't use I up here because I will start at 4 still. Remember what happens inside a for loop. The initializer happens first, but only once. Then it checks the condition. Then it goes to the code. It comes back up and does the altering statement, checks the condition again, and then back into the code. You always leave off with the condition before you go into the code. I hope this helps. This is the one that we did. And again, it could have been done other ways. Plus, you could have used any of the other 2 loops. This one was just a little more concise. Hope this helps. Bye.